It's great that we get all of these extra benefits from having a smart home, but what if you could save more than just a few bucks every month because you're dimming the lights more than the next person? Well, that might actually be possible with a very new product from an insurance company called Hero, and that product is actually insurance in the UK for DIY smart home folks just like yourself. Hello Automators, thanks for tuning in again. I'm Brian from Automate Your Life, and today I'm going to take the frustration out of automation by keeping you up to date with everything coming out. Now, today all of these products are basically out already or soon to come out on the market. There's no rumors or extraneous stuff today. And no, that was not an advertisement for an insurance company in the UK. I was just excited to tell you guys because I think we're going to see more and more opportunities for those of us who've jumped into this smart home industry to maybe recoup a little bit of that investment. And speaking of insurance, there's nothing like a couple of smart home cameras to provide you insurance in your home. But right now we have a couple of new versions coming out from Ring that have some new features that I think will really change how these products work. At $200 US, the Ring Video Doorbell 4 has all of the features you would expect, and that's kind of what we've seen from Ring for a number of years. They take their previous model and they build a little more into it, make it just that little bit better. This version, of course, can be powered either through a wired connection or by an onboard battery. And what's really impressive about that in this iteration is that they've also included a new pre-roll feature, which will make sure you're not missing the events. And it remains to be seen how that affects battery life, but this is a really great feature to see on a battery-powered video doorbell. The other new feature is called Quick Replies, and Ring showed us in their marketing material how you could get rid of marketers pretty quickly, but I think a lot of people will use these quick replies when they're not home to quickly get a conversation going with someone who's shown up at the door. Earlier this year, Ring announced the Video Doorbell Pro 2, and it actually shares one of the new features on the Floodlight Cam Wired Pro that was just put out. And this is more of a traditional security device in that it has a couple of big lights on it and a camera in the middle. But it has a new feature called 3D motion detection, and it's using radar to actually determine how far out someone is from the camera. And what this will allow is better mapping of your property, and therefore knowing exactly when someone crosses that threshold onto your property. Now, the really interesting thing about this is that it powers another feature. That new feature is called Bird's Eye View, and it showed up on the Video Doorbell Pro 2 as well. But what it's allowing is for you to know kind of how someone came onto your property and the path they followed using an aerial shot of your place and then remapping everything. Now, in case you didn't know, Amazon owns Ring, and while we're talking about Amazon devices, I might as well tell you about the new Fire TV remote. This is an upgraded version. It's the third generation of their voice assistant enabled remote for those Fire TVs. This should be available to purchase in the next week, actually. Amazon has finally released their second generation of the Echo Buds, and they come in two colors, although I'm not sure we can call black and white colors. But they're also 20% smaller, and Amazon has done away with the Bose active noise cancellation and created their own. Plus, these are capable of wireless charging, are IPX4, designed more naturally for your ear, and Amazon is saying that the audio experience is also significantly improved. And if even half of that is true, then these will be great, and I'm pretty excited to upgrade my Amazon Echo Buds. One of the devices I'm most excited about is just a push button, and I don't know why these continue to get me excited, but maybe I'm just hoping someone will push my button. Put out their smart tags here a little while ago, and they've been ranging in terms of price from $20 up to $40, which was supposed to be their price here in Canada, but there's been lots of sales, and now we're seeing the smart tags Plus come out. So not only will it act as a button inside of Samsung SmartThings, but you can track it, and the idea with that little plus symbol there is that you're able to use an AR feature inside of Samsung SmartThings to actually walk towards your SmartTag Plus. Speaking of Samsung SmartThings, which I know is everybody's favorite home automation platform, except for the Home Assistant junkies or the HomeKit zombies or you Habitat homies, everyone else, I know it's your favorite. The Aotech Hubs are available for purchase, and it's not in every country, but the links I have down below should be able to get you one if you're willing to pay the shipping cost. So check out the couple of links I have down below if you're looking for one of those SmartThings hubs. They are available now. But sadly, I can't tell you when the V3 SmartThings sensors are coming out from Aotech. This is something that hasn't shown up yet, and trust me when I say I am asking all kinds of questions. Now, what I can tell you about is a camera that I saw at CES 2020. That camera was called the 360 camera, and then it never came out, and then we saw everything that happened here with SmartThings. But Aotech has a version that they have released, and one of our viewers here actually created a great walkthrough video. It's Mateo, and his link is down below in the description. Miros has a couple of new products, and these guys have been putting out a ton, and of course they have HomeKit versions and non-HomeKit versions because Apple people need to feel special. Their new outdoor smart plug is IP44 waterproof, has 3 individually controllable plugs, and of course works with all of the big platforms that you would expect from that company, including Amazon, Google, Samsung, and if you buy the version, Apple. It's only 2.4 gigahertz Wi-Fi capable, which we would kind of expect for an outdoor version, but you should know that before you kind of get into this one. The other product from Miros I think solves a pretty good problem here, and that problem is when you enter into a room and your light switch isn't close by where you'd like it to be, well, then you've got to go find it, tap it, or you've got to replace it with a smart switch. And Miros thought about this one, I think, a little bit deeper than most. Their Wi-Fi dimmer switch comes with a remote, and this remote also comes with a full faceplate. So you can replace your existing switch with the actual Wi-Fi dimmer switch, and then you can just basically stick the remote with its faceplate where you would like the extra control. One of my favorite technologies to use in my home is Zigbee, and one of the great things that the Zigbee Alliance does is they put all of the certified products on their site. And what I found recently was a new set of smart blinds coming from IKEA called Tridansen. From the documentation, they appear to be Zigbee, and they also appear to not have any sort of tilt function. So they'll roll up and roll down. There's no tilt, there's no side to side, there's nothing else going on. They're gonna look a lot like the previous further versions. And speaking of Zigbee capable blinds, well, Aqara is coming out with a new controller, and this is a bead chain version, and they actually have a few in Europe and Asia already, but this one's going to connect with their new M2 hub, which I may already have in my home prior to the North American release, which is coming soon. Let's move on to that other smart home protocol with a Z in it, or a Z in it, and that is Z-Wave. Now, you guys have told me you really enjoy the Zooz products, and so I've been watching them and actually speaking with them quite a bit. Now, I've got a few in my home already. You saw a review of the multi-siren, but they've been putting out some new beta products that go on kind of a pre-release and then come out later the next month for full order, and we're coming up to that point where you could order the Zen 32 smart switch. That's quite the device, and it should be ready to go on full order around April 18th. And the reason I say it's quite the device is because it has 4 smart scene buttons that you can adjust to whatever you'd like. Plus it has a basic on-off switch. So all of that in one standard faceplate is pretty impressive. Zooz also released an update to their Zen 16 multi-relay, and they created the Zen 17. Now, it's not just 700 series Z-Wave compatible, which means higher security for you, but it's also capable of having a couple of sets of dry contacts Plus, it has the opportunity to actually take in inputs at 12 to 24 volt DC. So this is a really interesting device with a lot of applications. Zooz also put out, just before I came to film this video, a new sensor. They're calling the Q Sensor ZSE11. Now, it does motion, temperature, light, and humidity all on one sensor. And what I was really impressed with was the price being at $40, and during this kind of pre-order period, they even brought it down from there. A while ago, you guys saw me review the EcoNet Bulldog JW, and that is an actuator for your whole home water system, basically letting you turn it off when there's a leak. And what I really enjoyed about that device was the engineering approach to it. It was really, really well done, and I know many of you recognize that. Now, this company is coming out with a few more devices, and today I'm going to give you information on a few of them. The two devices they're working on, first, there's a competitor for that Zooz multi-siren that we just reviewed, and I really like the idea behind these devices and how they work with the smart home hubs to give you all of these options for custom audio notifications. The other thing that they're working on is a smart home gate lock, and that's a pretty rare device to even be talking about here. So I'm very interested to see how that goes, and what's really great is there's two YouTube video links down below for you guys to check out and see some of these products in development by EcoNet Control. So a little bit of early insight for you. SwitchBot has a couple of new devices coming out, and this was announced around Easter by them, but there's some really interesting details to what looks to be just a motion sensor and a contact sensor. And you know what? They're building this great alternative hub and home automation system, and maybe it sounds like a bit of a security system when we look at these devices. Now, what I really, really like about these is that they both have ambient light sensors on them. So it's not just a contact sensor, it's a contact sensor with an ambient light sensor. And I think that's going to give us some really interesting opportunities inside of the SwitchBot app for great automation. The Philips Hue wall module was something that a lot of the pros had fun with on Twitter. They kind of thought this was a silly device, but I still see some good use cases for this. And I think those of you with smart bulbs realize that, you know what, someone keeps turning off that light switch, and that's what the Philips Hue wall module is all about. You put it in the wall. Yes, it's a battery, so in about 3 years you're going to have to replace it, but it's going to stop that light switch from actually taking power away from your smart bulb. Wyze has been nothing short of an interesting company to watch here, and I really do like their V3 smart home camera. It's a great update from the V2, well worth the money if you love your V2s. It's honestly, it's been great, and they've been coming out with a few accessories. There's kind of a window mount, and there's also a light fixture that you can kind of stick on the top to provide that light in pure darkness so that, you know, you can use all of the great night sight features of that camera. They've also put out the Wyze color bulbs. You can't get any right now because they did the pre-order thing and then there's nothing available. But I will say that a lot of their other products have become a bit strange, or at least most of their product releases. There was a Wyze Car that they released on April Fool's, and I still can't tell if this was a real thing, but it's still listed on the site, so I think it is. But you know, the other things that they kind of released, there was a floor lamp here very recently, but it's Bluetooth only, and it comes with a Bluetooth remote. So it's going to connect to the Wyze app through Bluetooth, but that means you gotta have your phone. So it's just a bit of a strange release. And you know, when I consider how many Wyze hubs I have in my home, it's kind of strange to think that the floor lamp couldn't get connected to one of those. So it's just been a strange time with Wyze as of late, but I do think that the V3 is still worth a look. As of late, the Roku TVs and any Roku device really have become really useful within Apple HomeKit and with AirPlay too, because you can use both of those. Now, they're actually putting out a couple of new streaming boxes or streaming devices that will of course be compatible with HomeKit and AirPlay too. The new Roku Stream Bar Pro is quite the sound bar. So yes, it's a sound bar. Yes, it does 4K video output, and yes, it does HDR10 plus. Plus, it has an optical out for those of you who want to use that kind of a connection. So really powerful soundbar, but we can also kind of reduce down, remove the soundbar component and the new Roku Express 4K. And this is just your basic streaming box, but of course it's carrying that AirPlay 2 capability. And speaking of Apple HomeKit, well, we have Eve producing a number of new devices. They've been leading the way in terms of Thread development with Apple HomeKit on those HomePod minis, because the HomePods have actually been canceled by Apple, but them alongside Nanoleaf have been producing some new Thread devices. They've updated the Eve Aqua, and this is a smart water controller for your outside tap actually, and having it Thread compatible means you're going to get that water moving as soon as you'd like it. Plus they have the Eve Weather, which is an outdoor weather monitor providing you a number of different things, and all of this is compatible with that HomePod mini. You know what you might say is that the Eve Aqua has turned on that smart home industry tap and all of the products are falling out. And I'll tell you where a lot of these products are coming from. It's actually from CES 2021, and we did some great coverage on that trade show. All of the new products that came to us in that show, they're all a part of the video that's up on screen. You can see what's coming now from this list of products and what you'll be seeing for the rest of the year. So go check that out. It's a lot of fun to watch that video. Otherwise, thanks for watching today, guys. And of course, don't hate, automate.